Good morning and welcome. My name is James Cook. Let's vlog. And today I'm going to be talking about the Model X. Now you might be wondering, how come I have a Model X? Last time you saw me, I had an Audi E-Tron. So the reason why I have a Model X now is because whilst my car is getting repaired, the third-party insurers decided that what they really wanted in life was for me to rent direct through them. So I said, okay then, provided you can find me a Tesla. The only slight issue with that is the only Tesla they could find me was a Model X 75D. Rather a lot less range than I'm used to. What it does, however, have is a lot more space than the Audi, which is great because I'm taking this to an airfield to sell it because we won't have anywhere to use it in the new place that we're moving to. Really close. Guess I'll put Jasper on that side. It does annoy me the way you can't quite get the seats back. I'm not moving the front ones forwards. Come on, forwards, forwards, forwards. There we go. Now this should just come round here like that. And we're in business. Yeah, there's a lot of room in here. It was charged, wasn't it? I hope it's charged. Yes, fully charged. So the Model X is a very similar sort of size vehicle to the Audi E-Tron. So it seems like a great opportunity to sort of compare the two and work out which of them I would own if it was going to be my car forever. There are some differences from the outside, yeah, okay. Pretty much the same sort of size. This is probably a touch wider and possibly a touch longer too, but honestly they are both huge vehicles. It does feel like you're a little bit lower in this versus the Audi. Inside, however, is a whole different story. The Model X is much bigger, much more carrying capacity, and it seats 7, not, well, this one does anyway, as opposed to the 5 the Audi will fit.
Whoa!
Yep.
There's a Tesla in a Tesla. There's a Tesla in a Tesla.
Go on, let's get you. This car is just, you have the most amazing feeling of space in here because of the glass mainly, and also look at that for headroom. I'm 6'2" and I could be 6'6", it would make no difference in this vehicle. So yeah, lots of things to love on the inside here, unless you have a thing for buttons, in which case not so much. And some people do like buttons. I do not like buttons. I like things that work well, and most of the time the touchscreen does work well. Oh yes, always a Model X, that one is fantastic. Check it out. Just quickly want to talk about some of the driver assistance features. In particular, this car has obviously got Autopilot, and Autopilot is cool. I have used it an awful lot. However, I do prefer the kind of lane keeping assist that you find in Audi. With a lane keep assist, what you can do is you can sort of finesse where you are in the lane to, say, go around a pothole. Very easy to do. With Autopilot, if you actually get to the point where you are changing the direction of the car at all, then Autopilot will disengage. The back doors look like they'd be a gimmick, but I actually think they're really useful. Hello, how's it going?
This is a loaner, is it?
Yeah, just wanted to ask you, because you've got a Model X.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you if you have ever had any problems with the doors.
Got it caught on my garage door once.
Okay.
I won't talk too much about that.
Right, so that's not, is that the car's fault?
No, it was the driver's fault.
Fair enough. Jasper, can you be my cameraman? Very carefully, just hold that. You can see what it's seeing, so just, no, don't point it down like that, point it up more. There we go, perfect. Thank you.
Just make sure we are in the frame.
Okay. I'm afraid it's not as clean as it could be because it came from the garage. But we've got the instructions in the front there and the charge cable.
Honestly, I'm more than happy with this.
It's fully charged.
Do I go for a run?
You want to show him it working? Jasper, we probably need to be on the, hang on, let's put you on the grass. The car closed on me. Let's have a look at the airplane. Beautiful.
I've been in that aeroplane, and I went up in an aeroplane.
The proper use of a large frunk. Now that the red Tesla Ride-On has gone off to a new home, one with more space hopefully, it is time for us to head home as well. One thing I will say about the Model X is, and this actually is true for almost all Teslas, they're quite noisy, like road noisy. Very road noisy. I hadn't realised how road noisy they were until I'd driven the Audi, which was whisper quiet. And I think that's kind of basically where the difference is. The Model X and all Teslas are fantastic EVs, absolutely brilliant. But as a car, well, they're very, very different. Let's put it that way. Whereas the Audi, that's exactly what you would expect from a big German manufacturer. And it's also not a very good EV. The acceleration, I mean, this car, huge, but it feels like a small, nimble, hot hatch. That's how it feels to me anyway. I mean, it is big, but it goes, it's eager. The Audi was not eager. The Audi made it feel like every time you wanted to go anywhere, you were really putting it out. It was an inconvenience that you wanted to accelerate, but it would do it anyway. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. And home sweet home. Now time to finish off this video. Hey, come on. You've got a broken arm. You can't be cycling bicycles, can you? The bike will be waiting for you when your arm's not broken.
How long until my arm's not broken then?
5-6 weeks.
No!
That kid is unstoppable. Broke his arm on Monday, and on Saturday, he's on his BMX again. Now I think it's time for us to talk about some of the practical day-to-day things to do with this car. In terms of reliability, Teslas often do get a bit of a bad rap for build quality. This thing has got those great big falcon wing doors. They work really well, and from a practicality point of view, I love them. You know, the size of that opening at the side of the car, it really is brilliant. But they're very complicated because they hinge in two different places and they're covered in sensors, in theory, so that they don't bash into things. Although, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really trust it for that. I always make sure that I'm there so that if it looks like it's not stopping at the car next to it, I can say, "Gonna stop." Maybe I would be slightly less stressed about that if this was my Model X and not just a rental, but I don't know, I probably would still be quite careful with the doors. And the front ones as well, because they just open on their own. Although I do like the way you can close them on their own too. That's pretty awesome. You can just basically leave the doors open, walk away from the car, press the key fob just the once, and they all just close. Sweet. We've already talked about the driver assistance features, and yeah, I mean, I was just driving back now from this airfield we were at, and going down this dual carriageway, nothing in sight, nothing ahead of us or behind us or going by the side of us, and suddenly beep, 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 and the car's got the anchors on. Why? I have no idea. Some kind of sensor echo or something it just didn't like about that road. It had to stop. So I immediately had to plant my foot onto the accelerator to keep myself going so that whoever was behind me didn't run into the back of the now almost stationary Model X. Yeah, it shouldn't do that. Yeah, I think Tesla need to sort of dial back how severe Autopilot is, at least until it is fully reliable and the legislative framework is in place to allow people to just basically go, hands off, I'm gonna go for a sleep now. Because if you could do that, Autopilot would be just the most incredible thing ever. And I think Elon Musk realizes that, but closing that gap, getting it to the point where it's 100% reliable, or at least significantly better than a human being would be, that's the trick. And I think what's going to hold Autopilot back, probably for a very long time, I think they'll be able to get to the point where it's better than a normal human driver on average. Maybe significantly better. But the public and the government will never accept something like Autopilot as a fully self-driving thing if it's going to make mistakes that a human being would never do. Driving along a really open, totally clear dual carriageway in a reasonably bright daytime, no human is going to suddenly go, ooh, brake, emergency brake. No, they're not going to do that. Teslas might. It only takes one accident where the car did something that a human being would never do, and it makes it just not viable. So I think it's going to be a while. I'm not saying don't put your money down for full self-driving. I probably would. It comes with some nice features, like, some of the lane changey stuff, and the Navigate on Autopilot could be quite handy. But really what you're doing is helping finance Tesla. Okay, so Tesla's not a charity, but they do have a mission statement that basically is like, save humanity from itself. If I was buying a Tesla and I could find the money from somewhere, I would buy one with full self-driving, but I still think the Audi system is better. This is a 75D. Range is not so great. In fact, full charge is about 200 miles. 90% is 165, something like that, 165 to 170, depending on how it's feeling. It's not great, but you do have the Tesla supercharger network. And you can charge this from CCS if you have a CCS adapter, and CHAdeMO if you have a CHAdeMO adapter. And you can do pretty fast 3-phase AC charging as well. I think this is probably 11 kilowatts. It's a pretty useful backup. This car, which has, a good sort of 10-20 miles less range than the 95 kilowatt hour Audi E-Tron, it makes this more practical for a long journey, much more practical. You can splash and dash, just stop for 5-10 minutes on the supercharger when the battery's quite low. It'll be chucking in about 150 kilowatts, and then you'll have another 150 miles that you can go. Well, not 150, but not in this car anyway, but you definitely have another 80 miles you could go, which in the UK would be probably over an hour of driving, and then you stop for another 5-10 minutes, have a quick nip to the loo, grab yourself a cake and a coffee. Yeah, I have a big cake and coffee problem. I'm sure everyone already knows that, but I do, so I'm getting help with it. I am. Oh, one last thing. I thought the sort of sound system inside the Audi was brilliant. I thought that was really good, actually. It's kind of difficult to demonstrate that because of the wonders of copyright protection that's on basically everything that doesn't come from the YouTube audio library. But yeah, I'm not sure if this has got the premium sound or not. Either way, the Audi was better, noticeably better. My car does have the premium sound, but because it's 6 years old, it's not as good as the current premium sound, and based on that, I would say this probably doesn't have the premium sound because it sounds better in my car, and it definitely sounded better in the Audi than this. But this is a great car. So here's the thing: if I could choose between a Tesla Model X 75D or the Audi E-Tron with Sport and then sort of the 95 kilowatt hour one, so they're at sort of a similar-ish price, I go for this. I go for this because it's a better EV. It feels more nimble and faster. It handles corners in a more graceful fashion. You can carry far more stuff in the back, like tons more, and you've got access to the supercharger network. So that's it in a nutshell. This one. I do struggle to understand how the Audi E-Tron can have a 95 kilowatt hour battery and yet barely get any more range than this with a 75 kilowatt hour battery. Tesla have obviously just done a really great job with the efficiency of their drivetrain. So yeah, Model X. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram and Patreon if you don't already, and I will see you in the next episode of my vlog. Bye. Now, you might be wondering, uh-oh, it's playing music in the car, that's no good.
I can go fine. You can stop doing that now. I can cycle back up.
Really, can you?
Yeah.
With your broken arm?
Dad, stop
Oi.
this.